Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Ohio Picture Education Network channel and to another episode of the Grandstand. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk, among other things, about how exactly Democrats, currently using the social media site Reddit, are openly committing voter fraud for the upcoming August election and why they should all be in prison right now and never have voting rights in the state ever again. That's number one. Number two on the list is all the stupid bullshit going on with the whole issue one thing of all these douchebag liars and everything else like that, bitching and moaning about, but it's going to cancel out my vote. No, it's going to force you to have others come with you and have a better voting block, you fucking idiots. And even the one guy that claims to be conservative, which I guarantee is a fucking bullshit lie, we're going to talk about there in a minute or two, that claimed it was 51% currently. No, bro, it's not 51% currently. It's 50% plus a single vote that allows for constitutional amendment changes in our state constitution currently. What this would do, issue one, would be up to a 60% vote. And I even talked to my mom about it earlier, and she was even confused by it because of how you have this bullshit vote no campaign going on, which is nothing more, like I said yesterday, than fucking Michael Bloomberg and George Soros and other fucking globalist pieces of shit out there who are quite literally trying to steal the Ohio Constitution right now. They are trying to fuck over our Constitution. They're trying to keep it under some bullshit fucking terminology right now. Some outdated terminology from over a century ago at this point that they want to sit there and then fuck around and try to steal our gun rights later on. It's not like you're already not targeting human life with this whole thing. And apparently it's as of tomorrow, not tomorrow, it's as of the 5th of this month, so it'd be Wednesday, is when apparently the full deadline for the fucking bullshit November ballot thing is with the abortion amendment there. Which, fingers crossed, these fuckers never get the 413,000 they need right now. I really hope they don't have it. I heard about them about probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now. They only had roughly 100,000 that time, so hopefully it's about that right now. Because, honestly, I'm sorry, but the second you're trying to enshrine child murder into our state constitution, you're asking everyone to have fucking light of day ever again, dude. You need to be in prison for the rest of your damn life at that point because you are actively advocating for fucking human life being murdered in this country. You are actively advocating for the most innocent of human life to be snuffed the fuck out permanently. And you need to be fucking hauled off to jail, honestly. I don't care if it's the people doing the abortions, the fucking so-called doctors, etc. there. If it's the motherfuckers doing child genital mutilation, which is what this also is, by the way, in November. Or whatever else. These fuckers need to be stripped of any medical licenses ever again and hauled the fuck off to prison right now. And then we also had a bunch of stupid cunts on Reddit last night. You had this one bitching and moaning about different stuff relating to possibly leaving the state while becoming an RN is what it is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I found that one real quick. So I'm actually going to talk about that one first, and then we'll talk about the other stuff here. So... Actually, I might just bring it up real quick in the beginning here, though. So we've had many examples on Reddit in the last probably month or so of these leftists actively committing voter fraud is what it is. Whether it be having 17-year-old kids basically signing petitions after them being registered to vote and stuff like that, even though they have no legal right to vote yet is what it is. So that alone should invalidate those signatures anyway. And then you had, most recently, this shit right here that I ended up screenshotting just because of the fact that I wanted to make sure I had the screenshot in case it was deleted later or something like that. So I could actually have it for, proof of things for Secretary of State Frank LaRosa's office is what it is then. Which, I don't know if they'll actually do anything or not. I actually called him up for the first time today and left a message on his with somebody there at the office and was like, dude, you guys need to start looking into this seriously. These people are openly committing voter fraud in this state now. Enough is enough of this shit. Like, stop letting these fuckers get away with this, man. You're supposed to, like, seriously, Frank LaRosa, you're supposed to be Secretary of the State for a reason, dude. Your entire job is to deal with fucking voter fraud and other things like that in the state. But yet, your fucking bullshit-ass set of things you can go talk to people about or whatever the case be from your direct phone number doesn't even have a fucking thing to report voter fraud in the state. How the fuck is that even possible in 2023, man? There should be an entire fucking number that you can click that's just to submit claims of voter fraud potentially. So y'all can investigate this shit very fucking easily. And when I'm actively tagging you on Twitter and being like, hey, look into this, and you're not getting back to me at all, like, what the fuck, bro? I don't care if it's you running it. I don't care if it's somebody from your fucking place running it. Seriously. If I'm actively showing you, look into this, have somebody respond and be like, okay, cool. You know, we're very, about dealing with voter fraud. We might look into this finally, investigate the shit. Do your, seriously. It takes 5 to 10 minutes, motherfucker. Put me on the goddamn payroll for fuck's sakes, and I'll do it for you. Seriously, fucking pay me. I'll find you the fucking shit, and you can go fucking jail these fuckers then. It's not that hard, bro. Literally, 5-10 minutes to look into this shit. And you can actually have an investigation open in these fucking people. But you don't give a fuck is what it is. It's exactly why you haven't even thrown your name in the race for the U.S. Senate race next year yet. Even though we all know you're going to run for that shit. So, anyway. But yeah, you had, this was from the, if you support recreational cannabis in Ohio, you must vote no on issue 1 on August 8th. To which you had user number 1 say, I wish I could. I have an Ohio license at my mom's address in Ohio for cannabis specifically, but live in Indiana. So you're automatically committing, I think that's an interstate felony, if I'm not mistaken, that first thing. Said already lying to the system, and you should be in jail right now in at least one state, if not both, actually, right now. And they said, I imagine voting would up me to a new level of illegality I'm not ready for. To which this dumbass that goes by DankNerd97 said, if you have a residence in the state of Ohio and you receive mail at said address, then you can register to vote in the state. You must cancel your registration in Indiana in order to register in Ohio. I would do that right now. That is openly voter fraud, by the way. Because number 1, the only way for you to be a registered voter in the state of Ohio is if you are a permanent resident in the state, which this motherfucker is not. This dude lives in Indiana. It's not like you're going to college at some college in Indiana. You're living in Indiana at some fucking address there. And that's the big difference between, out-of-state colleges and stuff like that. Even with out-of-state colleges and stuff like that. If you go to a college out of state and stuff like that, most of the time, you're getting a new driver's license for that state because you're going to vote in that fucking state, then is what it is. It's not getting an absentee vote to vote in Ohio then. So yeah, this guy's already committing some kind of fucking serious felony charges right now, or at least high-ass level misdemeanors anyway. And then you're actively telling him, oh, just make sure you're not registered in Indiana anymore and vote basically absentee in Ohio is what it is then. And it's like, bro, this is exactly how they stole 2020, by the way. It's how they stole 2020. It's how that fucker Sherrod Brown stole the U.S. Senate race in 2018. It's how a bunch of Democrats stole fucking races here in 2022 last year. These fucking sacks of shit have been doing this shit for years, man. If not decades. And I am sick and fucking tired of it. And everybody else should be too right now, man. Because it's only one party in this fucking country doing this shit, and it's the goddamn Democrat Party not being held to fucking account at this point. And not actively having the fucking cuffs slapped on them and ripped the fuck out of office in handcuffs by federal agents, by state agents, etc. And what's even more fucked up now is, and this is why Wikipedia, by the way, can't be trusted as an actual news source outlet, because people can edit that shit like crazy. So you now have a bunch of leftists on fucking Wikipedia who have edited the term fascism to claim it's some right-wing authoritarian thing, when that's not what it is at all, actually. It doesn't matter who's actually doing it. It could be any political party for that matter. It's not just a right-wing thing. And if actually, what's funny is, if you look into the actual fascism and fascist terms, what it is then, and you go back to the 18th, 19th, 20th centuries, whether it be Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Lenin, etc., those guys were all hardcore fucking leftists, dude. Every single one of those dictators were hardcore leftists. Che Guevara, Pol Pot, fucking, most recently Nicolas Maduro, before him, his father Che Guevara, or not Che Guevara, Hugo Chavez, that's what I mean. Obviously, Che was the guy that was the dude in the, they have loved the fucking t-shirts on, but if they actually knew what that guy was really about, they probably wouldn't be wearing those stupid ass t-shirts is what it is, because Che would literally take people out into the fucking middle of a field, put them to their knees, and put one in the back of their fucking head. That's what the dictator Che Guevara did to people, man. Hugo Chavez just implemented a bunch of shit there in Venezuela to fuck over that state, or fuck over that country about 15, 20 years ago now, maybe a little bit more than that, because he was the one that did the socialist shit in there. And then it was his bastard son, Nicolas Maduro, now that's done even more than that, and has gone completely full dictator there now. And what's fucked up about Venezuela specifically is You're talking about one of the most oil-rich countries in this entire world that is now completely bankrupted as a nation because of the dictatorship going on there, because of the left-wing dictatorships going on there. So, anyway, yeah, needless to say, I'm fucking over it, man. I really am. And then about 10 minutes ago or so, before I started this stream, you had this fucking idiot, which is what I was talking about to begin with here, claiming to be a conservative when they're most likely not. It's probably some liars, my guess. Said, in my opinion, as it relates to issue 1, I am a conservative. Many of my friends are conservatives. Probably mean cuck conservatives is what you mean. Probably mean neocons is what you're really talking about. They're a douchebag. Most of us are active when it comes to politics. Our group has discussed issue 1 and want to say, even in conservative circles, it's not popular, even with people who are ignorant to everything else going on. I want to say that as long as you explain it well, the people who are ignorant to the daily politics playing out in our state understand why it's important to vote no. Clearly you don't, because you're a bunch of dumb fuckers, dude, is what it is. So I urge everyone, conservative or liberal, to explain the simplest way possible why this is bad for our state, except it's not, dude. That's the entire point. And if you think it's bad, then give your fucking voting rights in the state, move to another one, dude. Seriously. It's not bad. What is bad is having a 50% plus 1 vote threshold on the fucking ballot for a ballot initiatives this whole time for the last, almost 100 years now or so, give or take what it was there in the 1920s or something. That's what was bad. If the people that were the founders of the state back then understood how bad it was going to get, they would have changed that decades ago. You would have seen that shit change in the 60s or the 70s or something during the civil rights movement. It's not okay. Like, this is the thing, man. If your entire thing is to stop this and allow fucking baby killing to get through in November, you can go fuck off, buddy. Because you're obviously too stupid then to see that what's going to be behind that, which is literally moms demand action, every town, students demand, Giffords, etc., trying to fuck over our gun rights in the state right after that. And it's even the dumb fuckers on this whole thing. They're like, oh, if you care about legalized weed, guess what? I actually do care about legalized weed, but you know what legalized weed is not, dude? It's not a fucking ballot issue yet. You know what? It doesn't need to be a ballot issue because you should be able to get it through the fucking state house. And if you can't, you know what you do then? You fucking boot the fucking rhinos out by primaries, and you boot the fucking Democrats out by primaries, who are in Big Pharma's goddamn pocket right now, who are the ones pushing the fucking jibbity jabs all the fucking time, which, by the way, every single Democrat in the fucking state house really did that about 3 fucking years ago, and beyond that now for the last 3 years or so. But yeah, you vote these fuckers out that don't have the cognitive capacity to actually be a state representative or state senator anymore, dude. And I've said before, I'll say it again, dude, if you've taken those fucking things, you should not be allowed to hold office in this country ever again. Because you're clearly too fucking stupid to know the long-term health effects of that stuff. So, anyway, the entire point is, if they're not going to be the ones to do it, then primary their asses. Take their fucking jobs. Bring it forth yourself as a new state representative in the next election, in the next General Assembly. Win the next election cycle, then get in the General Assembly, then introduce it in the next General Assembly. It's not that hard, dude. There's a reason why we have term limits on office. There's a reason why we have actual primarying abilities every 2 years. There's a reason why, if you really want to go that route, which is what I'm trying to do right now here in Ohio, which is Article 1, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution, where you can literally remove people from office if you get the ballot initiative going there. If you get enough signatures on the petitions, dude, you can recall these motherfuckers from office and take their damn jobs. If you want to, with Article 1, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution, you can legally remove the entire fucking General Assembly right now. Which is maybe what we need to do, honestly. But you know what we don't need to do? We don't have a bunch of goddamn fucking Democrats trying to steal elections in this fucking state again and again and again, and having ultimate power to fuck us over ever again, dude. We don't need to have rhino pieces of shit like Bob Peterson in office anymore, who, by the way, completely broke term limits last General Assembly when he was termed out of the state Senate and then came back to the fucking state house. Same thing with that piece of fucking shit, anti-gun fuckboy, ex-cop, little fucking douchebag piece of shit, Cecil Thomas. who should have been in fucking prison 4 fucking years ago when he decided to put his fucking name on a bunch of anti-gun legislation, when he openly committed deprivation of control of law against every single Ohioan in the state by trying to steal our fucking gun rights through red flag laws, universal background checks, and other unconstitutional bullshit made up by Michael Bloomberg and Moms Demand Action. I am so fucking sick and tired of these people, dude. And I really wish I was not just on YouTube right now. If I was on Rumble, dude, you would be hearing a lot of fucking racial slurs coming out of my mouth right now, because that's exactly what Cecil Thomas's bitch ass is, dude. He is the fucking worst piece of shit right now. He is also the same fucking scumbag, by the way, who back during the fucking lockdowns, you had that fucking cocksucker bitch and moan about people coming in there and being like, you're spreading germs to me and I have a daughter who has an autoimmune disease. Then give up your fucking seat of power, you asshole, and go fucking home to your family. But no, you don't want to do that because you're a fucking sack of shit, Cecil Thomas, and you love to grab fucking power and never let go of it, motherfucker. The same thing with Allison Russo, the same thing with every fucking Democrat, same thing with every rhino sack of shit in this fucking state right now. They never want to give up power because they know if they do, all they are is a bunch of old fucks. They're a bunch of old, decrepit pieces of shit who are just criminally scumbag, corrupt assholes who should be in federal prison right now for various felonies and various misdemeanors. So yeah, needless to say, I'm fucking pissed. Where was that now with this? Oh yeah, going back to the guy who was talking about the conservative, supposedly conservative thing about issue 1 there. And then claimed, let's see. So I tell people that we, the people, shouldn't have to overcome great hurdles to make changes. If 51% of the people want something, which again, you were too stupid to actually realize is 50% plus 1 vote, then it should be considered valid. No, it actually shouldn't be, dude. And that's the whole entire point. There's a seriously, there is a reason why, for God's sakes, you have the U.S. Constitution. To change an amendment in the Constitution without Congress doing an actual amendment added to it. Like you can do constitutional changes 3 different ways in the U.S. Constitution. You can either have Congress make another amendment to add to the Constitution and do it that way. You can have Congress amend Constitution by, like, basically, I believe it's a 60% vote at that point. It would be 2/3 majority is what it is, which is exactly what this would do, by the way, here in Ohio. So you'd have 2/3 majority vote, or it is a third option, which is basically a convention of states where you have 38 states come together and agree upon something to actually open the fucking book, open the Pandora's box, and change everything. It's only happened, I believe, twice in U.S. history, and there's a reason for that. Because even in our founding fathers' day, and back in 1810 or 1820, whatever the hell it was they did that back in those days, the second they opened that box, they closed that shit almost immediately because they're like, yeah, we don't want to fuck around with anything right now. Like, this is bad. Close the box. And that's the entire point, dude. That's the thing. It should be hard to change the Constitution. I don't care if it's the federal Constitution or the state Constitution. It should be hard to change things that are already enshrined in law. And if you really truly believe, and this is the truth of the matter, if you really truly believe that something that you want done needs to be done, whether it be legalized marijuana, whether it be, supposedly enshrining Roe versus Wade into the thing, even though it was never a fucking actual that's the big problem I have with people entirely, dude, especially female leftists is what it is, dude. They want to act as if Roe versus Wade was ever a constitutional amendment. It was not. It was a case precedent set back in 1973 based on falsehoods and lies from a woman that wanted the moniker of Jane Roe. That's what it was about. It was a woman who was actually, I believe her name was Maud or something, if I'm not mistaken, in real life. She was bought and paid for by some fucking corporation lobbyist people to go in there to Congress and go in there, the Supreme Court is what it was, and lie. And she did. And she lied about, like, oh, it would kill me, it would fuck my life up, whatever the case be, which is an absolute lie. She ended up having the baby after the fact, by the way. The baby is alive today is what it is. And then what ended up happening was you had that particular Supreme Court then ruled that it was, good to go or whatever. Which, by the way, at the time with abortion, the entire original concept of abortion was that it was safe, legal, and rare. It was not supposed to be, oh, I'm going to be a fucking lazy whore, or I'm going to be fucking around with every dick on the block and these fucking dickhead guys that shouldn't be fathers anyway, and then basically use this as birth control. No, it was meant to be, hey, oh shit, like, I got to deal with this now because I was raped or I was molested or something like that. That's what it was meant for, honestly. Which nowadays, even that is like very, very small. It's very, very minute. It's like less than 1% of the people that actually fall into that category are actual, rape victims or molested victims and stuff like that. The majority of the people that go to Planned Parenthoods and kill kids in the womb are targeted black females in most cases. It's why you have the black population in this country still at like 12 to 13% in 2023. If they hadn't aborted like 90% of their fucking population, dude, they would have like a 50-something% majority in this country right now. That's what's crazy about it. And even fucking Margaret Sanger herself, the bitch that created Planned Parenthood, she was one of the biggest fucking racists in this entire country's history ever. She was a total eugenicist who literally was quoted as saying that she wanted to exterminate the black race. Like, how insane is that? Seriously. It's fucking psychotic. And this is the people that you're going to go to for healthcare? Are you fucking kidding me? All you're doing is propagating the same bullshit that she was pulling fucking 100 years ago. I'd also like to point out something too, by the way. Margaret Sanger is the reason why you had Hitler's Nazi Germany with the fucking death camps. Because they looked at Sanger and Planned Parenthood back in the day and were like, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Let's do that eugenicist shit right there, man. That's where the fucking concept came from. It was from the Democrat Party. People like Margaret Sanger. That caused Nazi Germany and the death of millions of fucking Jews in this world. It's just insane, dude. It really is. So to sit here and be like, oh, let's fucking keep that shit alive and well in 2023. Like, fuck off, dude. All right, where am I now? All right, I'm going to go back to this guy that claimed to be a conservative again and finish reading his bullshit here because I guarantee it's a bunch more lies is what it is, but we're done anyway. All right, so he was falsely claiming 51%. Let's see. So if issue 1 passes, it will require 60% of the majority to make a meaningful change. Issue 1 isn't being presented because the Republicans think that is good for the people. Yes, it is, actually. So it's being presented because they are afraid the people will pass laws and constitutional amendments that don't agree with. How about the people like myself that don't agree with the shit you're all trying to pass, dude? How about us? How about the people who are the 49.9999999% repeating who are going to sit there and say, fuck you, you fucking try this baby killing shit in November, we'll sue the fuck out of you is what it is, dude. And I've already said that before, I'll say it again now. I will seriously, if I have to go to a blood bank and have them take plasma out of my fucking arms to make money to hire a lawyer to sue these fucking people, I will. That is how determined I am right now with this shit. If I'm literally walking in there with bandages on my fucking arms and throwing down a hand of fucking cash to a lawyer, I will do that. Because that's how determined I am to stop these fucking people from trying to enshrine literal child murder into our fucking state constitution. Because if they do that bullshit, I know exactly what they're going to do after that. It's going to be steal fucking guns. It's going to be try to do some backdoor fucking bullshit gun grab by trying to, number one, do away with Article 1, Section 4 that enshrines us to have the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in the state. And number two, I guarantee that the Bloomberg/MDA initiative on that one for that ballot issue would be to institute red flag laws, universal background checks, magazine bans. Trying to think what else they've done recently. Assault weapons ban, which all four are unconstitutional, by the way. They've all been struck down in various courts nowadays. And probably some other shit too, for that matter. Oh yeah, waiting periods would be another one on that list. So yeah, you'd have red flag laws, universal background checks, waiting periods, magazine bans, assault weapons bans. I'm trying to think what else now. Oh, safe storage laws would be another one they put on there because they're trying to do that Thursday House right now. So that'd be 6. Trying to think if there's any other ones I'm thinking of right now that'd be really bad. Oh, probably try to do 1 handgun a month kind of thing as well on that one. So that'd be like 7 different things to try to put in that thing. And by the way, for those interested in why I'm saying this is the way I'm saying it, it's because what I would do if I was an anti-gunner. If I was going to do something like that, dude, having voted Democrat in my life between the ages of 19 and about 24 or so, and growing up in a very leftist household, I can tell you right now, I know how Democrats think because I was one. And that's exactly what I would do if I was anti-gunner. I would try to push in a ballot amendment that would be every fucking wish list thing that they want. While at the same time trying to do away with the constitutional right of the people that allows them to keep bear arms in the state for over 150 years now. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go for broke at that point? And like I said, I'll be damned if I let these fuckers do that shit. Anyway, finishing off that dude's thing, he said, yeah, free people pass laws constitutionally don't agree with. Politicians shouldn't be able to prevent the will of the people, except it's not the will of the people, dumbass. So that then delve deeper, and those graphs people have been posting really help drive the point home. Which, by the way, the graphs that he's bullshitting about are the ones that they're like, oh, well, this thing in 1914 wouldn't have passed and wouldn't allow women to do whatever then. And like this other one, like 1937 or whatever, wouldn't have done that way or whatever. Okay, that's a General Assembly, you know, again, 100-something years ago or 80-something years ago, whatever it was. That doesn't mean, you know, fast forward 5-10 years, you're not going to have a new General Assembly of people then that would have been like, okay, we're going to overdo this bullshit now. We're going to completely do away with this stuff now. And that's the thing, right? Like, I've actually been here long enough, dude, and I've paid attention to hot politics for the last, you know, roughly 7 years or so, give or take, to where I understand how corrupt the state is, number one. And it's both major parties. It's especially the Democrat Party, for that matter. They're the most corrupt of all of them. There's a lot of rhinos in there, too, that could join their asses in prison for all the fuck I care. If it was up to me right now, I'd say at least 50 of 99 in the state house right now would be in prison currently. And that would be every single Democrat currently holding office and about 18 to 20, give or take, Republican Party people, starting with Speaker of the House Jason Stevens, and then Bill Sites after his ass. And on the state Senate side, it would be every single Democrat over there. So it'd be I think it's 7 right now that they have. And then it would be Matt Dolan would be the first rhino on that side, followed by Stephanie Coonsey, who's also in the pocket of Moms Main Action. And then Kirk Shearing will be the third one. And I'm trying to think of the fourth guy is now. I know there's another scumbag over there real bad. I'm trying to remember names now is what it is. Oh, yeah, Steve Hoffman. That's who it was. That would be the guy who's trying to do away with the death penalty in the state. It's like, fuck you, Steve, seriously. Also, to add to that one, Michelle Reynolds, who just got in there recently, she would be the 5th one on that list because she's also trying to do away with the state death penalty right now. And it's like, no, what y'all need to be doing is you need to be adding alternative methods of death penalty, specifically firing squads and possibly bringing back public hangings and stuff like that is what it would be then. Just like Texas has. So, anyway. And then moving on to another thing I want to talk about in this episode, we got these bunch of dumbasses that, again, are Ohio, saying, how will any citizens-led initiative become law if issue 1 passes? You shouldn't need fucking citizens-initiated stuff, dude. That's the entire point. And here's the thing. If you don't like it, if you don't like what the state of Ohio is doing, then fucking move to another state. Seriously. We don't need you here. We don't want you here. We don't want your commie leftist bullshit in these fucking cities that does nothing but allow more criminality to go on. And then meanwhile, it becomes a revolving fucking cycle of leftism fucking criminality then, because it turns into a thing where you let the main criminals off the fucking hook to do all kinds of shit during fucking riots and everything else like that. And then it leads to fucking groups like Antifa and BLM becoming a thing, which are these hardcore leftists that, by the way, are the ones pushing the fucking vote no in August thing. That's why you need to vote yes in August if you live in Ohio, dude. Seriously. And then, of course, you got this bullshit, which is what we're talking about. I think I was going to talk about this last night, but I didn't get a chance to do that yet. Women of Ohio, make sure you sign the petition to put codifying abortion rights on the ballot on November. It needs 413 signatures by July 5th. Fucking Christ, man. These people are just sick fucks, man. And then, of course, you have these fucking... This one's actually kind of a funny thread because you basically had the left eating itself in this one. So you had to start out with women of Ohio, and then this person said all people of Ohio. So he's trying to do like all gender crap or whatever. And then this person said all people of Ohio who respect women's rights. And this other idiot said, or who don't, misogynists will want to make their voice heard too. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. And then you had this one that said, I just wish you to defeat issue 1, then the victory of this measure is basically given. If only every state had it, which response here was keep dreaming on that. So my problem is with that, right? Like they're trying to claim that, okay, if you somehow had issue 1 defeated in August, that somehow that paves the way for you to get that shit on the ballot and it would be actually going through like a given. It's not going to be, dude, because I'll tell you why. Like I said before, you fail to realize people like me exist here. You fail to realize people like Ohio Right to Life exist in the state. You fail to realize there's a lot of other pro-life groups in the state that, by the way, I wouldn't even need to do the things I said earlier about, selling my blood to go, or selling my plasma or whatever the case be, to go, pay a lawyer to get a lawsuit going against these people. I would just simply go talk to the mic guy at Ohio Right to Life and be like, hey, bro, y'all got lawyers, right? You need somebody to be a plaintiff? I'm your fucking man right now. And that's what I would do, honestly. And I would be one of many plaintiffs against these fuckers in multiple court cases going forward then. And we would injunct that shit the exact same fucking way that you have these fucking piece of shit Obama appointees down in Franklin County, down in other fucking different counties across the state of Ohio that have been blocking the heartbeat bill for the past 6 months now. That's exactly what we would do, man. We would be like, nope, fuck your bullshit abortion amendment crap, dude. It's not going through, motherfuckers. And we would take it to such court battles. It would be, we would honestly, and I'll do it like, I'll say it like I'm saying it right now, man. I would personally find the money to tie that shit up in fucking court cases all the way to the fucking Supreme Court again for the next 5, 10, 15 years of my fucking life if I had to. Because I'll be goddamn if I let these fuckers try that shit here, man. That's the big difference between Ohio and Kansas, by the way. Kansas was fucking stupid. Because what they did was they allowed basically a similar thing to what these fuckers here in Ohio are trying to do now. These leftists in Ohio are trying to do. Where you have, it was basically a yes or no question. Do you want abortion in Kansas or don't you want abortion in Kansas? Instead of it being like, hey, this is what these fuckers are trying to do with killing kids in the womb, etc. Versus, let's, keep like a safe, rare version of it or something like that. Because that's the thing, right? I have absolutely no problem if you have people who are legitimate rape victims or legitimate, molested kids, whatever the case be, to be able to have abortions. It's the exact same thing like these fuckers here in this thread we're talking about with the, by the way, this is the point that I'm trying to make on this one too. These people, these same leftist assholes that will talk about the guy who raped that little 10-year-old girl down in Columbus will never admit that that fucking piece of shit dude was an illegal alien in this country, should have never been allowed in the state of Ohio to begin with, because he should have been deported under Obama's administration and was only here because Obama fucking DOJ didn't do shit, and neither did Obama's fucking Border Patrol people to actually mass deport these fuckers out of our country that were illegally here is what it is, dude. So you had that dude who was illegal. You had the woman who was supposedly the guardian of this little girl who is also illegal because it was her fucking boyfriend. She let this fucking guy rape this fucking child, who this child is also probably illegal in this country as well, on top of that, because she pretty much has no documentation to be here legally. And that's why it basically never got out. And that's why you had Republicans all over the state, whether it be Dave Yost as AG, whether it be, I think, Frank LaRosa, Secretary of State, said stuff out too. I think DeWine himself was the governor as well, did something about it recently in the last year or so as well there, where they were questioning if this girl even existed because they had no fucking proof of her being in this state at all, whether it be in schools, whether it be medical records, anything like that. Because again, most likely she was illegally human trafficked over this country to be a child trafficking victim is what it was, dude. A child sex trafficking victim. Exactly what that movie Sound of Freedom is going to be talking about tomorrow when it comes out. Which I really wish I could go see that because it's a really, really good fucking thing based on a true story. I forget what the guy's real name is, but it's basically a dude who created this PMC kind of deal. Paramilitary Contracting Group is what it is. That they go around the world saving kids from human trafficking rings is what it is. And if they have to literally put money down to buy these fucking kids out of human trafficking, they will. And I commend those guys for that, because some people would just go in there guns blazing and just kill these fuckers, dude. Just kill these fucking human traffickers. It's what should be done to these people anyway. But hey, if it means throwing money down to save a kid or a couple kids, whatever the case be, do what you need to do, and then nothing else, send in some skeleton crew later on or something to deal with the fucking issue then, after the kids are safe. So anyway, go full Terminal List. Great show, by the way. If you've never seen that first season of that show, I suggest you watch it. It's an awesome series. It's basically discusses about the bullshit going on in our military and how they fuck with these guys' heads and stuff like that. But anyway, and then of course our government tries to cover up stuff by killing people then. But yeah, anywho. So basically, going back to what I was talking about though with the little girl there. So you had this little girl who was, molested by this piece of shit illegal is what it is. And instead of actually going to an Ohio clinic, which by the way, under Ohio law, in the heartbeat bill itself there, you had her legally being able to get an abortion here because it was life of the mother kind of thing at that point. Because that girl's 10 years old. She's not going to be able to legally carry that child to term. I'm sorry, not legally. She's not going to be able to physically carry that child to term without it being serious health risk to herself was going to be then at that age. And so, yeah, they would have allowed her to abort that kid. And rightfully so. But yet instead, she went over to fucking Indiana, found some piece of shit Planned Parenthood bitch over there who was a fucking so-called doctor. And then this woman basically defied the law because what she should have done as soon as that girl walked in there with the people that were her guardians at the time, she should have immediately called the Indiana State Police at that point and had them an investigation of what the hell's going on there. Instead, she did the abortion on this girl and then sat there and basically tried to shit talk Ohio. And if I'm not mistaken, now, like a year and a half later or so, she's actually been arrested for various shit. She's actually facing criminal charges right now. I don't know if she's actually going to trial over in Indiana or not, or if she's lost her medical license or nothing like that yet. But she definitely has been taking a task over this whole thing, as she should be. Because again, you were openly committing all kinds of fucking felonies, bitch. And you are a sick piece of crap, lady. But of course, I'm not surprised you work for an abortion clinic is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, needless to say, these people are pieces of shit is what it is, dude. But yeah, it's funny though, because you have the people going in the comment section and then just obviously are basically just downvoting everybody that's conservative in the comment section here, and then all the leftists are basically eating each other, what it is, or agreeing about some stupid bullshit like this person here saying, unless you vote no on issue 1 on August 8th, this petition for abortion is a moot point. And then you have some of these other people that were calling out these other people here for stuff. As this guy said, right to murder is not a woman's right. Try again. And then this person basically tried to shit talk conservatives and everybody else like that. And then this stupid bitch said, you realize abortion is still medically needed. Not murder if a miscarriage failed and you need to deal dead fetus expelled. Still considered abortion, but the fetus isn't alive. See, and that's the thing, right? Because even under the heartbeat bills and stuff like that, dude, and I've talked about this before, under Ohio 6-week one, you have it be able to be done that way, dude. To be able to extract a miscarried child is what it is, man. So, and then of course you got typical leftists talking back to the guy about saying abortion is murder, saying being Nazi, should be being a Nazi, isn't one either, but it seems you made the choice just from your comment history, talking about the person above there, which talking about human murder is not a woman's right. Like, that's the thing, right? These people never have a valid argument ever is what it is. Their entire thing is always, oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, you're a fascist. Oh, you're a fucking transphobe or homophobe or fucking whatever the fuck they want to call you at that point. Phobis or phobe that or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, y'all realize I'm fucking bisexual, right? Like, seriously, bro. You can't actually beat me anymore, man. You can't beat me anymore. Because I deny your bullshits. Is what it is, man. Anywho. Yeah, and like I said, you got a bunch of people that are being downvoted to oblivion. That's the thing I realized with Reddit about probably 6 months ago or so, at the beginning of the year, which is what these people will do, what these leftists will do to create an echo chamber on that site, is they will basically downvote every differing opinion because so many of the subreddits on that site require either 10 positive karma, 20, 30, 40, whatever it is, 50 in some cases. And so if you don't meet those karma thresholds to be positive karma on that, if you have like negative, 57 or 87,000, whatever it is there, you can't post anything on those subreddits then. As soon as you do, it'll just knock you and be like, oh, you don't have positive karma to actually vote, to have a voice being heard here is what it is. So that alone itself right there is actually what I've said in the past, and I'll say it again. Reddit has now opened themselves up to a massive class action lawsuit by anybody on the right or the center right now to actually get something going, because you're actively censoring people's voices on that site and you're denying freedom of speech on the site itself under various subreddits. So anyway, and the last thing I want to talk about was this one I found last night, which we would have talked about if I had done that Tadpolar's chat last night. But of course, nobody was coming back in the panel and I was going to be by myself. And honestly, it became a whole clusterfuck. I was going to actually still do it, but then my left eye was seriously causing me fits last night. I think I'm actually losing vision in my left eye is what it is now, which is not good. And depending on any given day, it's just not 100% of what it needs to be for being able to read stuff and whatnot, though. So, anywho, as this chick here was saying, after Roe versus Wade, LGBTQ discrimination. I love how these leftists love to slant shit, by the way. LGBTQ discrimination, which is really what she means, is basically not having children be put on hormone blockers and given trans surgeries under the age of 18. That's what she's calling discrimination, by the way. Affirmative action, which not really sure how merit-based systems apply to anything on that one. And all the student debt crisis, I'm not sure I can stay in a state that supports it all. And then this chick continued on and said, won't be long before I'm a registered nurse, and I'm not sure this state will remain home. Anyone else considering leaving? And then you got other people going on to say, like, the state was not, you shouldn't leave the state, you shouldn't raise the white flag and stuff like that. It's like, no, you should, dude. Get the fuck out. We don't want you here. And that's the thing, right? Like, that chick being a registered nurse, are you fucking kidding me, bitch? Like, who are you going to be a registered nurse for? Planned Parenthood? Some kind of other abortionist fucking clinics? Because that's who they're basically talking about, dude. Or is it going to be a registered nurse that falls under Anita Samani? The dumb fucking cunt who should never been allowed to see foot in our state house because she is an actual doctor in the state that does fucking medical transitions of children and should be in prison right now for crimes against humanity awaiting death penalty in the state of Ohio for that alone. So, anyway, yeah, it's just a bunch of shit, man, entirely. I am going to read some of the comments on here just to see what these leftists love to say about Ohio and how they want to shit talk Ohio on one hand and then be like, I don't want to leave the state, though. This person said, I really do understand your point. Was born and raised in Ohio. It is a place I genuinely love, but my entire adult life, 2 decades. So, are you saying you're 20 years old, or are you saying you're 30-something years old? I'm not sure on that one. That's weird. This person said, I have fought to try and prevent what has happened to Ohio. So you're literally one of the leftists I hate with a fucking passion right now, is what you're saying there, chick. Said, but it's hard to not feel powerless. Nothing has worked, and I believe that Ohio is beyond the point of no return. I don't want to spend the rest of my life fighting against my ignorant neighbors who are armed with 3 generations worth of hatred and high-speed internet. I love when they say armed with generations of hatred. No, they're just armed with a bunch of fucking guns, people. Person said, I gave up. I sold everything and used all my money and resources to get to Denmark. Then why the fuck are you even on the subreddit, dude? You're not even in America anymore. Fuck you. You give up your citizenship at the door. Fuck off. Person said, I'm essentially starting over in a foreign land, but life is good here. So good that most Americans would be quite upset if they knew how good life can be without being a millionaire. Those small-town racists in places like Mansfield 1, there's no racist there, by the way. What she's actually talking about is the same people that work for places like High Point Firearms. And then continuing on, she said, they don't want me in the state, and that's what it is now. No, that's the point. We don't want you here, dude. And it's not racist to not want you here. When you are literally trying to steal our fucking rights from us, when you're literally trying to take the Second Amendment out of our fucking hands, when you are literally trying to kill the next generation of kids, and if you can't kill them in the fucking womb, you're then trying to sterilize them under the age of 18 later on and fuck with their heads to where they kill themselves then after the fact. That's what we're fighting against. If that's somehow racist, then fuck you, cunt. Fuck you, bitch. You know, there is a fucking reason. There is a fucking reason why I have still lived through last year. And I'll tell you what it is right now. It is hate. I am driven by hate at this point for the left, legitimately. But not only just the left, everybody that's corrupt. It's mostly Democrats, from what I've learned, at least 50-something% Democrat. But there's also about 30 or so percent Republican, a bunch of rhino sacks of shit. Maybe 40% on a given day. So it's like a 60-40 split, give or take there. And that's the thing, right? When I get driven by hate, I have to release. And that's why I do these grandstands. Because if I didn't do the grandstands, I'd do something real bad. I'll tell you that right now. And that's all I'll leave it out with that one, dude. But with the way things are going, you know, that's why I talk about balkanization all the time. That's why I talk about, So I talk about potentiality for second civil war pretty soon. And that's because of that reasoning. Because these leftists have moved the fucking goalposts so hard, and their rhino buddies have joined them so hard, it's damn impossible to do anything, man. You know, it's like I said before. You know, we think we're safe with a Republican supermajority here in Ohio, yet you have people like Bob Peterson or Jim Thomas, or whoever the hell it is, the House Oversight Committee, giving 100% Democrat-backed anti-gun legislation bills hearings. What the fuck, man? Seriously. Who is Bob Peterson or Jim Thomas fucking on the Democrat Party right now? Is it Michelle Grimm? Is it Jessica Miranda? Is it some low-key gay shit where you're fucking Daryl Brewer? Like, seriously, bro. What is it? Honestly. I wouldn't be surprised in any of those ones, man. Honestly, if they were having some kind of weird fucking orgy in the background or something in the back rooms of the State House or something one of these days. Somebody just walked in there with some like blood sacrifice shit going on or something. And again, this is the problem when you don't have enforced term limits. There's a reason why it was about a decade ago that we actually had term limits put in place in our State House there. And there's a reason why you should be respecting them. If you've been in the state Senate for 8 years, or if you've been in the State House for 8 years, get the fuck out and don't come back. It is time for a new generation of people, a new generation of civil servants, people like myself who are actual civil servants, who give a fuck about the state, who give a fuck about the Constitution, who give a fuck about our oath to the Constitution, and are sick and tired of the corruption in the state, and who want to see everything changed and be put back to a sane fucking place again. Because honestly, that's where we're heading right now. And that's the thing. That's why I want the yes vote to go through in August, because I feel like that at least would make our state a little bit saner right now. It would force 3/5 of the people in the state to get together and do stuff. But anyway, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. I'll be back tomorrow for a Freedom Friday on the 4th of July special one is what it is. We'll talk about the founding fathers of this country and pretty much, you know, what led to the founding of this nation and the revolution of this nation that led to the founding of the nation, and then everything else like that. And then, you know, we might be reading some stuff. I'm not sure. I don't really want to be reading the entire Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers on the site because it's like, or on the stream and stuff like that, because it takes like hours to do. That's what it is. If not like, you know, 7.5 hours, something like that before I've done some stuff, dude. And it's really fucking hard in some cases because it's all like written in the old way of like, you know, founding fathers language where stuff means different things now is what it is in some cases. And it's just a pain in the ass. But either way, you know, we'll at least talk about the revolution anyway and, you know, celebrating the 4th of July and everything else like that then. So, but actually it was funny. My niece came up for the weekend to stay with us for a couple of days. And, but before she got here, we moved our old couch outside and put it on the curb to get picked up here today. And then Saturday night, my brother had gone out with my niece to go watch fireworks. People were setting them off everywhere is what it was. And you had 3 kids that were in their teens come by and were like checking the couch out. And they're like, mind if we take this? And my brother's like, are you sure you want it? Because it's pretty broken down. They're like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, yeah, take it. So you have these 3 guys literally lifting up this couch and walking up the road. So I have no idea what they did with it. I don't know if it's going to be used for target practice. If it's going to be some, you know, piece of furniture for an outdoor set or something like that for them to just chill out and fuck around outside or something like that then. just like a seat to have or whatever then. But either way, it's out of our hair. We didn't have to spend $20-something to have them haul it away for the garbage people to do that then, which is absolute bullshit. We had to pay any money extra for having that stuff hauled away then. But yeah, it's out of our hair. We didn't have to spend any money to do it, and that's awesome. So we all thought it was funny though, but I figured I'd mention that though. But anyway, yeah, I'll be doing a Freedom Friday tomorrow though, as a special 4th of July event then, and then tomorrow night on Reddit, I believe, or not Reddit, on Rumble, I believe that Honda will be doing Taco Tuesday again then, hopefully anyway. I don't know. He might not. He didn't do Sundays. So I know that for a fact because I asked him if he was going to do it, and he was like, yeah, I'm pretty tired from the drive home. Then it makes sense. He was driving, more or less like most of 17 hours of a drive from California to Colorado. So I don't blame him for wanting to chill out and just fuck around for the day or whatever, get some sleep, and then do whatever then, game or whatever. So I would probably do the same if I was in his shoes. And like I said, I would have done the takeover chat last night, but I was feeling like shit. Didn't really feel well. Wanted to spend some time with my niece and my brother while they were still here. And then they left this morning here, so that'll be the last I'll see of her for at least a couple weeks anyway, if not a couple months for that matter. It'll probably be by the time she goes back to school in the late summer, early fall is the next time I'll see her probably. But she's a good kid though. She basically reminded me of myself actually at that age. Very shy. Kind of wants to be in her own world. Unfortunately, those kids in her generation now, they really are technology addicts, dude. And I'll tell you what, just watching her on a tablet for like 5-6 hours here while she was just chilling, it's like, put down the tablet, Sadie, seriously. Well, let's talk about some stuff. Because we were even asking her questions. My mom and I both were like, how was school this year? How were your grades this year? Et cetera, et cetera. And she was barely answering us. So I fear if we ever have a grid down scenario in this country, what these kids are going to be like, man, because I know how I am as an adult. I'm almost 40 years old right now when it comes to technology and having like the withdrawal symptoms and stuff like that, like you're getting off a drug or whatever. I would hate to think what some of these kids are going to be like when they're doing withdrawals from technology. If the grid ever does go fully down is what it is. Like they're going to be seriously like hardcore, like heroin addicts basically from technology withdrawal and stuff. So yeah, it's not good at all. And that might be something we talk about in the future, Grandstand actually, is why you should limit your kids' access to technology and why you should keep them off of social media as much as possible, which is very much true at this point. There's no reason to have these kids being possibly groomed by a bunch of pedophiles on different social media sites. There's no reason for these kids to be doing little crazy, TikTok dances and stuff like that, or anything like that, man. It's like, nah, expand your mind, do something else, go outside, play with the neighborhood kids, have some fun, get into some trouble if nothing else, man. Not too much, obviously, but like nothing that's gonna get you arrested, obviously, but like seriously, just do some shit, man. Have some fun, play with each other, play some basketball, play some football, whatever the case be. Go kick a soccer ball around, go ride your bikes around the neighborhood or something like that, for real. Unfortunately, when you're in a major city, though, it's very hard to do stuff like that, and especially where they're living at now, which is pretty bad ghetto in Columbus, which is where her mom's mother lives, which is her grandmother on her mother's side. Yeah, not a good place, man. So I think for them, it's going to have to be a situation where my brother gets his shit together real quick and gets back down there and they get a new place down there somewhere, or even just change locations entirely, because it's not like they're real. Honestly, truthfully, I think right now, the best thing to happen with all of them would be to just move up here someplace and just set the kids over to one of these schools around here, man, because you'd be getting a better education for the kids. You're not having to deal with all the leftist shit of the city anymore. You're not having your tax dollars go to fight against you is what it is on stuff. And yeah, you're in a more rural place that's going to be better off for you. If anything happens, you're going to be close to us, to where we could all be, pretty much neighborhood watch kind of scenario type of deal. And it is what it is at that point. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it'd be nice if it did. I think the problem is, though, with my brother, the way his degrees are, and how he has technology degrees and stuff like that. It would be much harder for him to find some up here than it would be down there. But then again, there's always places around here that are always hiring for that kind of thing. And who knows if they're not going to have something better from up here, then if that be the case. So I don't know. I think more talk is needed right now. But then again, I also think it's a thing with his. I think they're still married. That'll be my sister-in-law then. There would have to be a situation there of her being on board with it. So I don't know. It is what it is, man. But yeah, it'd be nice to have them around more, is what I'm saying. And, not miss out another year of my niece's life, really, is what it is. Or for my nephew, for that matter. The kid's already 16. And it'd be nice to see him more before he goes off to wherever at 18, 19. So, anyway. But either way, like I said, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. Had a good time this weekend, actually, with some family. My first cousin got married to her. I think they've been together for about 5 or 6 years now. Her boyfriend / fiance guy. And that was a fun wedding. Honestly, reminded me of what I pretty much do when I get married, which would be some kind of backyard kind of deal then. Because it was literally in my other cousin's driveway. It was her sister's driveway that she was getting married in by like some justice of the peace chick is what it was. Ordained minister type person. So, yeah, it was a cute ceremony. I think there's about, 60-something people there maybe, if even that many. Maybe it was more like 50-something or so. Very small. Nice and quaint, actually. Had a few of my aunts there. All the cousins on that side, so it would have been the bride. My other cousin, that's her older sister. And then their brother. The only one that wasn't there was their other brother, who one of them has had a falling out with for some years now. He was in another place, and I think it was the state of Pennsylvania, doing some kind of family reunion over on the other side of the family or something like that. And then, so didn't have his kids there, or my second cousins, but I did get to see my second cousin, who is the girl who got married. It's her daughter. Got to see her there. Her boyfriend was with her. A couple other random people I didn't know, and then some friends of some of the other cousins as well that were all there, and shot the shit with people for a little bit. Got my drink on for the first time in a while. I'm not gonna lie, I had some of the Mike's Hard Lemonades that they had there. It was the deep freezes. I think it was like pink freeze and like blue freeze or something like that. Those are pretty good, actually. The pink one wasn't bad. The blue one was actually really good. It tasted like blue, like, because it was ice cold the first sip of what I had, but then it got warmed up real fast. But yeah, that first sip I had of it, like, dude, that tasted like a slushy that had melted basically with some alcohol in it. Like, it tasted real good. And had a couple of those then, like one of each of those, and then some other stuff, and then eventually I had like a Jello shot that people were passing around. So I had a little bit of booze in my system that day. It was fun. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. The only thing that was the issue was that it was a little bit hot, and then the worst thing is that it rained for like a little bit. Like, thank God they were able to get the ceremony in before everything, because it was between the time that they had finished the ceremony, and then it was, I can't remember I think we were about to go eat, then is what it was. They had put the finger foods and stuff like that out, and I ended up getting like a bowl of nuts and some other shit then to eat. And then basically it was around that time that you had this little downpour happen. And unfortunately, the way they had the tent set up outside the garage there, I was sitting in this weird position where the water was hitting directly onto my back. And I'm just like, like, what the fuck, man? Because it was like the overhang that was like dripping it on me and stuff. And yeah, it wasn't fun at all. And ended up moving a little bit later after that then. And then about maybe 10-15 minutes go by, because it's Ohio weather, obviously it changes, on a dime and stuff. Like legit, like 10-15 minutes later, rain had disappeared, dispersed, everything else like that. It was getting sunny out like 5 minutes after that then. So within like a 20-minute time span, it went from like crazy heavy downpour to just completely tapered off, and then the sun's coming out right after that. So hopefully that'll be a good sign, because I know it's supposed to be, if you have like rain on your wedding day and stuff like that, it's actually a good sign that it'll have like a good marriage or something like that. So hopefully that's the case. The guy that my cousin married seems like a good dude. I've talked to him a couple of times off and on. We really haven't had like deep, meaningful conversations before this, just because we barely ever, get together is what it is, unless it's like one of these family events and stuff, and then he's talking to other people is what it is usually. But now that I know that he's going to be part of the family as I guess it'd be cousin-in-law, technically speaking, hopefully I'll be able to have more conversations with him and shoot the shit then as that be the case, because he's a pretty good dude. He's very pro-gun, very pro-America, things like that. So, yeah, just a good, hard-working brother is what it is, man. Just like most of these people are. And most of the people that were there actually were pretty decent, too. They were all... If I had to guess the demographical makeup of people at that party, I would say it was about probably 75% right-wing to centrist people. And then there was like a few of my aunts that are like hardcore Democrats, and that was about the only Democrat makeup there. So, but yeah, either way, it's just funny. And again, by the way, I've talked about it before. Those are all JFK Dems, is what it is, that don't understand the Democrat Party. Left them a long time ago and changed the goalpost to the point where they wouldn't even recognize it anymore if they actually looked into it hard enough. But they really just believe CNN, MSNBC, and all the other fake news sites out there for the mainstream media. And it is what it is, man. They're so set in their ways, it's not even worth it to change their minds anymore on stuff. They're going to vote Democrat until they're dead, and then they're probably going to vote Democrat after that, then if that be the case, through voter fraud and shit. So, anyway, like I said, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. Everybody had a good time over the weekend. I did, except my feet were hurting like crazy because the gravel that was in that driveway that we were sitting on the whole day. But other than that, it was a fun time, fun party. It's a nice place, honestly. It's not too far from me, actually. It's only maybe like a 15-minute drive from here or something. And honestly, it's funny because when you start going back into those backwoodsy areas where their house is, 100% mega country, dude. I've seen several flags on there. There was one that was basically, it was a Trump won sign, and there was another flag that was like Biden sucks, Biden cheated, or something like that. So, and then there's American flags everywhere is what it was too. And that's how you know it's basically American country, dude. That's how you know it's patriot country in this state right now. When you got people who actually fly the American flag and not the fucking, rainbow flag or the fucking, pedo flag, that progressive pride flag, or any other crap like that. It's like, nah, man, this is America. We fly the American flag. We give a shit about this country. We actually like our Second Amendment. We love our First Amendment, et cetera, et cetera. And it's time to get shit done, man. So, anyway, that would definitely be the area I'd be in, knowing that I'd be safe if there was some kind of thing that went down, because while we were having the entire wedding going on that day, there were people shooting guns that were the neighbors around that area. So I know there's gunners everywhere around there. So it's like, yeah, no surprise there. I think they were probably doing some kind of hunting or something like that, or maybe some target practice. I'm not sure exactly what, like clay shooting maybe or something. But either way, it was some shotguns going off around there. And yeah, it was a fun day overall. And like I said, a lot of people were doing good stuff there. It's funny to me too that they said it was a casual event, but yet then I showed up in basically a t-shirt is what it was, and my brother showed up in like a dress shirt, and he was hot as hell. I was good to go because I showed up in a t-shirt and I had a little thing to wipe my forehead off with. I was gonna wear the 2A shirt on Saturday, but the problem was, because unfortunately this shirt is a little bit small because it's not big enough to really fit me properly. Really needs to be like a 4 or 5X anyway. It's only a 3. And actually, I think 5X would probably be good. If I could get a 6X, that'd be excellent because I would just wear that all the time is what it is. But yeah, because I'm wearing a 6X right now is what it is. But yeah, like a 4 or 5, I could probably fit into a lot better. But the problem is with this 3X, it's a little small. And if you're not putting it directly on the skin, if you're trying to put it over another shirt, it's impossible to get on, which was what I was trying to do on Saturday. And yeah, it didn't work out for me. So I just figured, fuck it. And then I ended up wearing a different hat. That was the butcher shop I go to a lot that actually does support the Second Amendment. So I figured I was still being pro 2A then either way. A lot of people had hats on too, for that matter. So I wasn't the only one hatted up that day. And yeah, like I said, it's a good time. Sister-in-law was doing pretty good. My nephew didn't come to the party, unfortunately. Because he just wanted to do I think we're going to call it a day on that one. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the next Freedom Friday episode. And other than that, have a good time. Have a great 4th of July. And it's time to celebrate American History Month, baby, because that's what we're in right now. We are in American History Month. We are in what could be described as White History Month, for that matter, as well, by people like some black conservative people. So, anyway, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.